Good evening, viewers. This is Kasturi De. Today again, I'm discussing the measurement and experimentation chapter according to ICC syllabus class 9. This is the physics chapter, the first physics chapter which I'm discussing. I'm continuing with that only. So today I'll discuss the simple pendulum. Okay. So a simple pendulum, it is a instrument which has a thread, okay, and it is attached one end to a bob, to a circular bob, and on the upper end it is attached to a rigid support. Okay, so this is the picture of the simple pendulum. You can see this is the bob, and this is attached to a string. The one end of the string is attached to the bob, and the other end is attached to the rigid support. And this is the point of suspension where the the thread is attached to it. Okay. So this bob is, this is the mean position of the bob, and to oscillate it, we first move to the position A, and then we release it. It will move across the mean position and move to the another extreme position, that is C. Okay, and this way it oscillates. Okay, and the from A to B and B to C is the amplitude, the distance which is covering, which the bob is covering while oscillating. That is the amplitude of the bob. Okay. So let us see what is there in this simple pendulum. For measuring time, one thing I'll tell you, that the simple pendulum is used to measure time. Okay, so the pendulum clocks which we see in our offices and houses, those are based on the principle of the simple pendulum. Okay, they work on the basis of the principle of a simple pendulum. Now, the pendulum which is used in the pendulum clock, it is compound pendulum. That is not simple pendulum, but it works on the principle of simple pendulum. Now, what is a simple pendulum? Theoretically, it is a device with a heavy point mass, that is the bob we call it, that is suspended from a rigid support by a massless and inextensible string. The string which is attached to the bob is massless. It does not have any mass, and it is inextensible. That is, it cannot extend. Okay. Now, for that pendulum, what is its effective length? Effective length is the distance between the point of the suspension and the center of the bob. See, if we see this picture, the effective length will be from this point, that is point of suspension, to the mean position, the bob, the center of the bob. See, this is the mid. If we tell that this is the center of the bob, then if you say that this is the center of the bob, then the effective length will be from here to this portion. Okay, this will be the effective length of the pendulum. Okay, now we come to some oscillations. What is oscillation? It is one complete to and fro motion of the bob of the pendulum. Okay, now with that is from A to C. Okay, one complete one complete to and fro motion of the bob. That means from B to A, again A to B, B to C, and again C to B. So that makes a one complete oscillation of the bob. Okay, so then the time taken to complete one oscillation is the time period, or period of oscillation, time period of the simple pendulum, or you can say period of oscillation, and it is denoted by the symbol T with a unit of second. It is denoted by small s. Okay. Now, frequency of the oscillation. Frequency of the oscillation is, it is the number of oscillations in 1 second. Okay, frequency of oscillation is number of oscillation in 1 second. In 1 second time, how many oscillations are being made? by the pendulum. Okay. So it is denoted by the symbol small f or small n. And its unit is per second, or you can say s to the power -1 or hertz, Hz. Okay. So its unit is either per second or you can say hertz. Now amplitude. Amplitude is the maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position on either side. Okay. That is from B is the mean position. In the picture, you can see B is the mean position. So B to A, okay, and again A to B, then B to C and C to B. So how much maximum, how much the displacement is from the point from the mean position to either side. That is the amplitude of the bob. Okay. Then its symbol is either small a or capital A, and its unit is meter. Okay. Next, we come to what is the relationship between the time period with the frequency. If we say that capital T is the time period of the simple pendulum, then in time t seconds, the number of oscillation is equal to 1. Okay. And so in the time 1 second, a unitary method, in time 1 second, the number of oscillation will be equal to 1 by f. Okay. Then what is f? F is the frequency. Okay. So therefore you can say that f is equal to 1 by t, or t is equal to 1 by f. Okay. This is the relationship between time period with frequency, time period and frequency. Next we come to I told you we need to use the simple pendulum to measure time. So how it is done? For that, this simple pendulum is taken. This is the effective length. You can see this is the length, effective length, that is from the rigid support, from the point of suspension till the center of the bob. That is the L. Okay. This is the long thread which is attached to the bob, and this is the metal bob. Now, if we first move this bob to one extreme position, either if let's say it's B position, from A we move it to B, and we release the bob, and we will see, we'll note the time in let's say 1 second. If we say the time, we see that in 1 second how many oscillations are taken. Okay. Now we take this we make few readings. We take few readings. If the length is in 25 centimeter, then time for 20 oscillations, how many seconds are taken? So if we will count 20 oscillations, and we will note the time with a stopwatch, that how many seconds are required, how many seconds are required for this 20 oscillations. Then we make a time period, t is equal to 1 by t by 20. That will give the time period in seconds. Okay. So for 25, if it is the centimeter length, the effective length is 25, then 20 is, if the time taken for 20 oscillations is 20 seconds, then t is equal to 1. Okay, 1 seconds. Then L by t square is equal to how much? 25 centimeter per second square. Okay. So like this, we take all the oscillations and we take the mean of that, and we will find the time. Okay. Then we will find the time. Now, if we plot, see, this relationship of time with length and acceleration to gravity, we will see that t is directly proportional to the square root of length. Length is effective length. Okay. Or you can say t square is directly proportional to length. So if the time period increases, if the length is, yes, if the length of the pendulum, that is length of the that's effective length, if it increases, if it is increased by if it is increased 2 times, the time period will increase 4 times, as t square is directly proportional to length. That means if length increases, time period will increase. But if the length increases twice, then time period will increase 4 times because t square is there. Okay. So like that, if the graph is plotted against in the time for time period against L of the pendulum, then the straight line will occur. As it is, we can see that if time period increases, length will increase, or length increases, time period will increase. But this the increase for time period will be square of the length. Okay, that is, if it increases, length if increases twice, then the time period will increase 4 times. So it will form a straight line graph. Okay, like this will be the graph. Now from this we can find the slope. If there are two time periods we have taken, t1 and t2, so t1 square minus t2 square divided by L1 minus L2 will give the slope of the graph. The slope at a place of t square versus L graph will be constant at a place. The slope at a place, at a particular place, will be constant, and that will be equal to 4 pi square g. Okay, g is acceleration due to gravity, where g is equal to 4 pi. If g is equal to 4 pi, where the slope at a place t square versus L graph is constant. Okay, so g is equal to what? 4 pi square. You can say, you can convert it like this, that 4 as the slope of a place of t square versus L graph is equal to 4 pi by g. Therefore, g is equal to 4 pi square by slope of the place of t square versus L graph. Okay. So, and another thing is, what is the relationship of time period with the length and acceleration due to gravity? T is inversely proportional to gravity. Okay, so you can say that T is equal to 2 pi root over L by G. Okay, root over L by G. Okay, so this is the it is related to this acceleration and length of the acceleration due to gravity and its length. Next, the time period, it does not depend upon the mass of the material, shape of the bob, and application of amplitude of oscillation. It does not depend. The time period does not depend on the amplitude of oscillation, mass of the material, and shape of the bob. It only depends on the length, acceleration due to gravity. Okay, length and acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so this is the combination of the first and the second. Okay, so first is this one, t is equal to root of t is yes, t is directly proportional to the square root of L, and in this one, t is inversely proportional to 1 by root g. So in combination of the two, we make it as this one directly proportional. We make it as constant. We take it as 2 pi. So t is equal to 2 pi root over L by g. That is the reduction. Okay. Next, we come to the second pendulum. It is the pendulum that has the time period that is equal to 2s. Okay. Second pendulum is a pendulum whose time period is 2 seconds, or a pendulum that takes 2 seconds to complete one oscillation. In the previous simple pendulum, the time period was 1 second. For it takes 1 second to complete one oscillation. Here it takes 2 seconds to complete one oscillation. That's why it's called second pendulum. Now, the effective length of this pendulum at a place for G, where G is equal to 9.8 meter per second, is nearly 1 meter. Okay. The effective length is generally 1 meter at a place where g, that is acceleration due to gravity, is 9.8 meter per second. For this example of the seconds pendulum is the house clock with shorter lengths. Shorter lengths, which have shorter lengths, the house clock which has shorter lengths. These are the examples of the seconds pendulum. So this is the end of the chapter. In my next video, I will discuss some ICC pattern questions on this chapter, which have come earlier, or some practice questions. Okay. And then I will continue with the question answers of this chapter question answers. Okay. I will discuss. I'll try to give as much question answers as as I can collect from different books and different sites where so that I can help you in your solving the questions. Okay. So first, please go through the videos, and if you have any doubt, please to write in the comment box. Okay. You can also write in my email ID, that is kasturi74@gmail.com. Okay. And please press the like button so that I can produce you good motivated videos for you, so that it can give enthusiasm to your studies also. And also do share with your friends and colleagues so that they can also be benefited from these videos. And last but not the least, please do subscribe my channel so that you can get the notification of my next videos. And one more thing I'm telling in my last few videos, that please do meditate before sitting to study, because this time is a very bad time going on for all of us in the whole world. A very bad pandemic is going on. So we need more concentration, free from uh, all worries, so that I can concentrate on you can concentrate on the studies. Okay. So to free from that, please do meditate before sitting to study, and that can help you to concentrate on your studies, remember things better, and solve the question answers better. Okay. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.